When I look at the Ferrari 296, I am not particularly fond of its design. If you ask me, and as usual, no one did, I just don't think it's that interesting. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, please leave me a comment and let me know why. This is just my opinion, do not hate me for it. Ferrari makes some truly awe-inspiring vehicles. The P4 from the late 60s, the super iconic F40 in the late 80s, or one of my all-time personal favorites, the 458. The SF90 is obviously on that list, and without question, the gorgeous Daytona SP3. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but some of the more notable Ferraris in my opinion. And if I'm just being petty for the sake of it, don't get me started on the 12 Cilindri. I mean, does anybody else see an elongated Mazda 3 with nice rims? And of course, not every Ferrari has to look like it was created from the mind of a tweaked out Renaissance sculptor endlessly obsessing over their design. But I look at the 296 and it just kind of looks a little generic to me. Obviously, it's not an ugly design. I mean, it's still a Ferrari after all. Still, there's something about it that just doesn't do it for me. Until I saw the new Ferrari 296 Speciale. Welcome back, my name is Jason and I am the GI Car Guy. If you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do me a favor, take just a second to hit the subscribe button, show your support, I would really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, let me know why, I'm curious to know the reason for it. Okay, enough of that, let's get back into the 296. And though I don't necessarily love the way the 296 looks, as Disney tells us, beauty is only skin deep. It's what's inside that matters, and, well, the 296 is no exception. But before we get into that, let's go back in time a little bit, all the way back to 2022. The Ferrari 296 was released as either a GTB, hardtop, or the GTS, a convertible version. The original 296 takes inspiration from primarily the 1963 Ferrari 250 LM. If you ask me, and as usual, nobody did, I see a little of the 458 mixed with a smidge of SF90. And I'm sure there's inspiration from other vehicles somewhere in there. However, the combination looks very formulaic and watered down. As I said earlier, it is definitely not an ugly design by any standard of measure. It's sleek and aerodynamic, and I wouldn't kick it out of bed. It just has a few elements that are sort of generic for my liking, namely the front grille. But I'm done shaming it, I'm moving on. I mean, it is still a Ferrari after all. Where the 296 really excels, really shows out, is in its power plant. See, the 296 is not your typical 12-cylinder Italian monster. In fact, it's not even a V8 Italian monster. It's a V6. Something a Ferrari hasn't had in it since the 70s. But this isn't like the V6 in your aunt's Volvo. This is a mid-engine plug-in hybrid system with twin turbos making 819 horses, all going to the rear wheels. To break it down a little more, the V6 with turbos makes 654 of those horses, while the electric motor makes up the other 165. I know that over 800 horses is common for supercars, but there's something incredibly impressive about that number when it's being squeezed out of a V6, albeit a hybrid one. Ferrari claims the 296 has a 0 to 60 time of 2.9 seconds, though I did see an article by Car and Driver stating a time of like 2.4 seconds. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant, either time is neck snapping fast. 0 to 100 miles per hour hardly makes any sense at 4.7 seconds. All of this speed hits the rear wheels through its 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. I guess Ferrari is wanting these performance numbers to help make up for the vehicle's average design. Alright, seriously, I'm done poking fun at the 296, just go ahead and tell me I'm an idiot in the comments. Taking a look inside, the lack of over-the-top tech and driver assistance features is slightly underwhelming for a car that costs as much as the 296. That's because Ferrari wanted the driving experience to be as visceral and thrilling as possible. The interior, though minimalistic, is certainly well appointed with all the Alcantara, carbon, and chrome one would expect from a modern Ferrari. Derived from the SF90, the 296 embraces the all-digital instrument console that is also used to manage the infotainment system and navigation. By all accounts, this is a very lacking aspect of the car and very frustrating to navigate from what I'm seeing from multiple sources. In fact, using the term quirky is being a little generous. I do find it amazing that a vehicle this expensive can be designed, created, tested, and released to the public with such an unergonomic and frustratingly unintuitive interface. I mean, can we seriously get a software update? While not having any driver assistance features, the 296 has 4 driving modes: eDrive, Hybrid, Performance, and Qualified, depending on the level of performance you want the car to dish out. As a side note, Ferrari states the 296 can travel up to 15 miles in electric-only mode at a maximum speed of 83 miles per hour. You know, for when you don't want your rich dad to hear you sneaking it out at night. When it was initially released in 2022, the asking price started at over $320,000, but could be spec'd out to over $500,000 depending on options. Now that we're all on the same page, that brings us to the 2025 Ferrari 296 Speciale. Revealed for the first time at the end of April 2025, the Speciale should be arriving in the US in the beginning of 2026. And right off the bat, I already love the updated look. The whole car is much more aggressive looking, especially the front end. The slightly more angular look now matches the ultra-aggressive Frankenstein's power plant V6 hybrid system that has been tweaked to now make 868 horses. That's 50 more than the previous version. Beyond the power upgrade, there are a bunch of tweaks and upgrades. The most notable being the aero and vents near the headlights that feed cool air to the radiators, as well as to brake cooling ducts. The large vent on the hood, the aero damper, funnels air up through the vehicle, helping reduce aerodynamic variability. The rear of the vehicle has new gamma wings that help increase downforce, reduce drag, and assist with the engine cooling process. The Speciale has the same rear wing, which is basically an almost 3-inch tall panel that moves up and down depending on downforce requirements. The car, if you can believe it, sits a little lower than the original 296 and weighs in 132 pounds less, right at 3,400 pounds, with the addition of much more carbon fiber and weight savings all around the vehicle. There are many more improvements to the Speciale, but maybe I'll wait to go a little more in depth when people start getting their hands on them next year. As much as I've given the original 296 a hard time for the way it looks, it's undeniable it's still a demon underneath. And now with the introduction of the 296 Speciale and all of its updates, improvements, and reworked styling, it looks like it's going to be the total package on and off the track. However, with the potential price tag of nearly $500,000, I don't think we're going to see too many of these things pushed to their limits, not fully anyways. Speciale looks great with a fresh design that now matches its personality. Super aggressive, and I love it. If you made it this far, I can't thank you enough. Do me a favor, please hit the subscribe button for me. What are you waiting for? It helps me out a lot, and I would really, really appreciate it. Thanks again for being here. Remember, stay safe out there, take care of each other, and enjoy the ride. Peace.
Anybody even listen to this kind of shit anymore? What do you mean? This isn't real music. Hip-hop is dead. Dead. Nobody knows how to make real music anymore. Dead. Dead.
Flashback, before you got mad, then you crack that. In and out of dolo when a new man to the boys were only when you crack that. Man, I don't act like heads up, yeah, all of that one pack. I could be anywhere, feeling alright. Till the game on the head is all mad at.